I've made a lot of mistakes over the years when it comes to buying mic stands, and in this video, you're going to learn how to avoid those mistakes so that you don't have to waste your money. By the way, this video is sponsored by Zounds. They were kind enough to send me a few extra K&M microphone stands so that I could add them to my collection. More on these stands in a minute. The first thing you need to be aware of is that there are different types of mic stands. A typical straight stand is designed to be placed on the floor with either a heavy round base or a tripod. In live sound, these are usually the best option for announcers and speakers who may want to take the microphone off the stand and walk around the stage. That's because they're very simple to use. Straight stands are also a great choice for lead vocalists who do not play an instrument. In the studio, I'll sometimes use a straight stand for microphones that don't need to be particularly close up to the sound source, such as a mic in front of a drum kit or a stereo microphone. Boom stands are generally more useful because they can do everything straight stands can do, plus some. If I just need a straight stand, I can always simply remove the boom attachment from my boom stand. More times than not, the boom attachment is helpful because it allows for more flexibility in miking things without getting in the way of the performer. For example, a boom stand is great for vocalists who play guitar or piano. The vocal mic can be close to the performer while providing enough space for their instrument or pedal board in front of them. When placing mics on drum kits, boom stands are essential because you can get the microphones into the correct position even if you need to weave through some cymbal stands in the process. As the name implies, desktop stands are useful for placing microphones on desktops and lecterns, but they're also useful for placing mics close to the ground for a kick drum. I prefer desktop stands with the rectangular base because they tend to be much more stable than some of the round base desktop stands. Although, one issue you'll face with desktop stands on a desk is cable management. Unless you're using a wireless microphone, the cable from the microphone ends up running across the desk and getting in the way. If you have the option to mount a broadcast arm to the desk, this is usually a better solution because it keeps the stand and the microphone cable off of the desk space. Broadcast arms are also perfect for podcasting and radio because they're easy to adjust without creating much handling noise. The second mistake is buying a stand that's too tall or too short for the source you're recording. Unfortunately, it's basically impossible to find a stand that's the correct size for every instrument. I've got a few stands here to accommodate each situation. I use this extra tall, heavy-duty mic stand for overhead microphones on drums, or anytime I need to hold a heavy microphone with the boom extended to its max length. This is also my go-to microphone stand for holding my shotgun microphone while shooting my videos, because the stand is tall enough to get the mic into the correct position without getting into the camera frame. A standard height mic stand is a good height for vocalists, either standing or sitting. This height is also well suited for placing microphones on pianos, acoustic guitars, and many other instruments that are typically located waist height or higher. These stands can be used for drum overheads as well, and they're much more portable than the extra tall stands that I showed you earlier. Sometimes a regular height stand is too tall. Even with the boom fully extended downward, the microphone isn't quite low enough. When placing microphones on guitar amps, snare drums, or other instruments which sit relatively low to the ground, it's best to use a short stand with a boom. By far, the biggest mistake I've made is trying to buy the cheapest microphone stands available. I get it, mic stands aren't that exciting. You may be tempted to prioritize everything else over the mic stands, but I would caution you against that. First of all, placing an expensive microphone on a cheap mic stand is a recipe for disaster. High-quality stands offer much more stability and will keep your microphones safe. Second, cheap microphone stands tend to slip when you extend the boom past a certain point, especially when using a heavy microphone. You should have seen the stands that my band used back in high school. We didn't want to waste any of the little money we had on more expensive stands, but when those stands inevitably started to slip, we realized that you get what you pay for when it comes to mic stands. A few ruined recordings and several rolls of duct tape later, I finally realized that investing in a nice stand is well worth it if you have the money to do so. My recommendation is the K&M brand. They have heavy, stable bases, and the hardware is much more rugged than cheaper stands. If you're on a really tight budget, you can go with OnStage. On-stage stands have decent build quality, but the difference is still night and day when compared to K&M stands. Buying your stand through one of the links in the description below will help support Audio University at no extra cost to you, so that I can continue to bring you more videos like this one. Thank you for watching.